you're required to have car insurance for your vehicle at all times in California. However, with the average American paying over $2,000 per year for full coverage according to Bankrate data, that expense can be hard to justify when you drive very little. If you're shopping for car insurance, you may have come across pay-per-mile auto insurance, a type of coverage that lets you pay a daily base rate plus a per-mile rate as you drive. While it's a good choice for some drivers, notably those who work remotely, those who drive less than 1,000 miles a month and retirees, it's not a good fit if you're driving substantially more than the average Californian driver. Here, let's break down what you need to know about pay-per-mile car insurance. What we'll cover. 1. What is pay-per-mile car insurance? 2. How does pay-per-mile car insurance work? 3. Is pay-per-mile car insurance worth it? 4. Best pay-per-mile car insurance. 5. Bottom line. What is pay-per-mile car insurance? Pay-per-mile car insurance is a type of car insurance coverage that tracks the amount you drive each month and charges a base rate and a per-mile rate. Generally, you can get the same or similar types of coverage you'd get from a standard car insurance policy, including liability coverage and the option of full coverage car insurance to include collision and comprehensive coverage in your policy. Compared to standard car insurance, pay-per-mile car insurance might be cheaper if you drive less than the average driver. In the U.S., that average is about 13,400 miles per year, according to 2022 data from the U.S. Department of Transportation. According to Metromile, a pay-per-mile insurance company, those who drive 10,000 miles per year or less are the most likely to save with this type of coverage. Pay-per-mile car insurance premiums are calculated based on two primary factors, a base rate and a per-mile rate. Base rates largely depend on where in CA you live, your car's make, model and year, your driving history and habits and the types of coverage you've selected on your policy. Then, you'll pay a few cents for each mile you drive on top of that base rate. How does pay-per-mile car insurance work? Pay-per-mile car insurance tracks the mileage you drive with a mobile app using the transmitter plugged into the diagnostic port of your car beneath the steering column. The system tracks the number of miles you drive and shares that data with your insurance company. The difference between pay-per-mile insurance and driving-based or usage-based insurance is that pay-per-mile focuses on the number of miles driven, while driving-based and usage-based policies measure driving habits and reward safer drivers with lower premiums. Is pay-per-mile car insurance worth it? In many cases, pay-per-mile vehicle insurance can be useful for lowering rates. Oftentimes it's a drastic savings for drivers looking to get higher coverage limits. There are several popular scenarios where this type of car insurance can make sense. There are a few pros and cons you should think through when considering whether it's right for you. Pros of pay-per-mile car insurance. Pay-per-mile car insurance has some obvious advantages, namely 1. Cheaper car insurance. 1. Pay-per-mile car insurance bases your premium largely on the amount of driving you do. 1. For those who don't drive many miles daily, this type of car insurance would link the amount of driving you do to your car insurance price, which would lower premiums. Cons of pay-per-mile car insurance. In some cases, pay-per-mile car insurance doesn't make sense. Here are a few common scenarios that could make it smarter to look for a standard car insurance policy. 1. You drive a lot of miles daily. If you're driving more than the 13,400 annual miles driven by most people, then this type of insurance might not work for you. 2. Device must be plugged in. If saving money isn't worth plugging in the device, then this type of insurance might not work for you. Who is the best pay-per-mile car insurance? Not many insurers offer pay-per-mile car insurance. If you've decided that pay-per-mile car insurance is right for you, call or text us to get a quote at 951-243-2800, SAW license 0IO6643. Send 6 photos per vehicle like this.